Have you ever wanted to feel the power of one bullet doing so much damage that it pretty much wipes the entire room? Well, this build, guys, my one-shot Trickster pistol build, it's going to have you feeling like if you were a god and just one bullet alone could pretty much obliterate anything that stands in your way. In addition to that, it gives you a new, enjoyable way of actually playing the Trickster, and that is rocking one pistol. Now, guys, you guys let me know in the comment section down below if you want to see my complete 40 run with just pistols only, because boy was it fun and it is super engaging. After you guys seen all these clips, you guys are going to notice one single thing. We're only rocking the pistol and it's doing a ton of damage. How are we putting this build together? Well, let's go ahead and break it down. Big shout outs to Protocol for actually giving me the inspiration for this particular build, and let's jump in and talk about it. So our main bread and butter, guys, is going to be this weapon right here called the Disintegrator. Now this particular weapon, guys, automatically drops with strings of gust, which shots link up to 5 enemies in 10-meter radius. The targets are dealt 3 million damage each of them for every 2 seconds. So this is going to be proccing every 2 seconds. This is what makes this gun beautiful, and the synergy with this particular build works so wonderful. Next, guys, we went ahead and modified Nicholas Revenge here. Shots linked to 5 enemies with 8 meters, so opposed to 10 meters. These are going to also target the initial target and cause a total of 3.5 million. So it's a total of 6 million damage for every 2 seconds that we're shooting this. Now, on our third slot, guys, we have Weakness Trap. Now, this works really well with the synergy we have here, but you could actually alter this with different mods, and I'm going to explain how that's going to work. But basically what this does is that shots cause explosions dealing 3 million damage and inflict weakness on enemies within a 5-meter radius. The cool thing about here is that every 2 seconds we're able to proc 2 of these. Every 3 seconds, hopefully we're able to proc all 3 of them, giving us a lot of damage, guys. That is very, very big. Almost 10 million damage. So really good. Now that is the main weapon we're using, and I think if you want to have fun playing this build, you're pretty much just going to want to run with this build. I'm not going to tell you guys it's super easy to play with this build, because it is not. It is just an extremely fun build to use, and I wanted to share with you guys after I saw it. So next up, guys, for alternative weapons, if you guys are having a hard time or don't want to spend 2 times killing bosses, of course the anime is going to be the #1 here. Moaning Winds, Radiational Splash, I have Firestorm. That third mod slot doesn't really matter because you can go with anything else. The main thing here is Moaning Winds and Radiation Splash. Since with the anime you already get the Moaning Winds, just a matter of swapping in Radiation Splash and you're good to go. Next up, guys, we have the Mythos. This one right here, guys, Omen, as you guys know, really good weapon. Is going to be inflicting bleed every time we shoot it. Fortune is going to allow us to increase our anomaly and also our firepower. And then Mage's Rage here, which is kind of the main bread and butter. This is like the god tier when it comes to weapon as far as mods is concerned. But these 2 weapons are not a requirement, not a priority. The main thing we're going to be looking at is this weapon, and this is what the build is pretty much centered around. Next up, guys, for this one, guys, we're running 3 sets of the Trespass's Claw. The reason why it's going to increase your damage by 5% per enemy affected by the deception kill, and additional players can die inside a slow trap. So we can't die in slow. We're not using slow traps, so it doesn't really matter. The beautiful thing about this particular build, it is super tanky. You won't be dying, and you will be able to run around, just pretty much kill the majority of the ads, as you guys saw in the footage in the beginning, with just 1 single bullet, which makes it really dope. Alright, so here, guys, we went ahead, we applied Captain Hunter in here, which increased our damage against elites by 16. I wish it was still 25, because we do need that a little bit more extra oomph when it comes to killing elites with this build, but still pretty solid. We have long range here, which is going to triple the range of the skill, and we have also Borrowed Time, which is Exterminational Protocol, which is going to receive 6% damage bonus against elites every 3 seconds while the skill is active. Bonus stacks with 30%. And is removed when the skill ends. So basically your Borrowed Time is going to have to pretty much going to be active throughout the entire game. Okay, so that is the main gist, and I'll explain how these skills work when we get to the skill and how you actually want to go ahead and sync them. Now for the chest piece, guys, we are running this one, normal one. Main thing we're looking here is for bonus firepower. The close range, long range, that doesn't really matter, but bonus firepower is definitely the one we're looking for here. Here we have time space. So this is gonna, when we use Borrowed Time, we're gonna receive some armor. This is what makes it really tanky, and 50% resistant bonus when the skill is active. Since this is pretty much active the entire time, this is going to give us a good amount of of armor and resistance. We went ahead and put here a Trample the Weak, which is going to deal 12% more damage against enemies afflicted by weakness. The reason is because we have this weakness trap. Now we had something else Since we're constantly shooting this weapon, this weakness thing is getting applied constantly over and over, allowing us to synergize well with this one, which is going to deal a little bit more damage when we apply that weakness. Here we on the bottom slot, we have power assimilation. This is going to boost our anomaly power, so it's going to do a little bit more damage when you shoot this weapon and the lightning. And then we have, guys, our pants. Now for our pants, guys, once again, bonus fire is the main thing here. These ones drop with another one, which is going to shots an enemy inflicted by the skill do not consume the ammo. So this is really good. It lets us maintain the rhythm within our weapon. Even though we just need one particular bullet, we can still fire multiple bullets without consuming ammo, allowing us to have almost indefinite ammo within the pistol. Here, guys, we went ahead and we put Anomaly Echo to give us a little bit more firepower and more anomaly power. And this one dropped with no escape, increases the skill effective range between targets by 25%. Next up, guys, for the gloves, we have this one. Now, I wish this would have bonus firepower to give us a little bit more damage, but this one comes with max health, close range damage, and cooldown reduction. This one comes with pain transfer, so this is a really good roll that we have, and we didn't modify anything, so you're pretty much going to be able to get the same roll. Just got to keep an eye out. This one's going to give you 20% weapon damage and 20% anomaly power dealt to one infected enemy by transferring to another affected enemy. Then we have double time. Enemies are suspended in the air 2 times longer. Now, here is something that you could probably mod for another type of weapon, either something for borrowed time or something for Venture's Knife that's going to allow you to do more damage. That's pretty optional. You can definitely substitute that double time one. But right here, we do cut them deep, which elites marked by the knife receive 30% more damage. So that's a really good one. That's almost a requirement, especially for the elite one. But you could substitute anything else right there in that middle tree right there. Next up, guys, we have the following, which is Containment Overseas Boots. This one right here, guys, we went ahead and modified Graves Wave. Every enemy afflicted by the wave receives vulnerable status. Really important. We want to have that vulnerability effect applied every single time. On our mod, we have Diffuse, which is going to sprint and it's going to increase your armor and resistance by 50%. And last but not least, we have Hive Cut, which is damage on enemy marked by the skill. Also activates the effect on the marked target within 6 meter radius, dealing 50% more of those additional damage. Basically, this is what is allowing us to just use one bullet to kill the majority of the enemies, and this is where this build really shines. Now that we have the weapons down and the armor down, let's take a look at our skills. So for our skills, guys, we're reading Time Rift, and the thing I love about this particular build is it lets us use our skills very spammy, and they're almost up indefinitely. And the cool thing about this is that we're able to be applying weakness whenever we do Time Rift. Since we're doing this every single time, that weakness effect is getting applied. Then we're running Borrowed Time, which is a 3.8 cooldown, so very fast. We're able to, it ends, we are able to get it back. And then we have Venture's Knife with a 3.2 cooldown, so we're able to throw our knives every single time constantly, allowing us to do a ton of damage. Now for our class, guys, for our class tree, we went this route, and I'm going to explain exactly what's going on here. So we're picking up a little bit of health knots, so making us sure that we're a little bit tanky when we have this build. Main thing here, guys, of course, we're reducing the damage we take from elites, but the main thing here is when we activate our movement skill, so Borrowed Time, it's going to increase our armor piercing by 25%. That's really good. Next up right here, guys, we have this one that we're picking up, which is movement. So this is going to allow us to increase our weapon damage by 35% for 8 seconds whenever we have Borrowed Time. And we're also picking up this nod, which is every ammo picked up is going to heal you. This is not that important because it's not proccing that often, but this one is really important because when we use our deception skill, it's going to grant us 50% shield, allowing us to maintain ourselves super healthy. The majority of the nods, guys, are shield regeneration, so this is pretty much the middle tree is going to be just so you guys can go ahead and pick up enough health so you're not constantly dying, and allow you to reduce the cooldown of the skills. Now, the pack tree is what makes everything work and kind of synergize perfectly, because what we're doing here is our damage is going to be increased by 15% for each skill on cooldown. We're not picking this up the majority of the time due to the fact that our cooldown is so low. This is only proccing not as often as we like, but it's still proccing. Next up, guys, we have when you activate the deception skills and grant 15% more shield, once again making it a little bit tanky. This would be the other alternative, but our class melee, we're not using it at all. So next up, we got this one, Failsafe. When your health drops below 30%, the shield gets activated and damage mitigation. That's really, once again, focusing on staying alive. But the reason we went down here is because when we have an elite that's been tagged by deception skill, there's a 25% chance that it's going to be increased by 200% the damage. So that makes it really effective, allowing us that, when we shoot our gun, sometimes we're able to hit 30 mil, 20 mil, 15 mil. It's just going to go ahead and double that. So that makes it really powerful. Next up, guys, we have the last one, which is going to 200% of killing damage on enemy tagged with deception skill is divided amongst the other tagged enemies. This is what makes them pretty much just use one bullet to kill the majority of the ads in the game. Running expeditions with this build is super easy. The only time that this build we need to figure out how to get it a little bit more power, and maybe you guys can let me know in the comment section down below what could probably be changed. Is when we're bossing, it's not going to be like that, you know, like boom, it's going to only take me 20 seconds or 10 seconds to kill a boss. It's going to take you like, you know, 40 to 50 seconds to kill a boss. Still a very effective time, but it's not that fast boss killing, you know, build as per se. Now for the accolades, not for the accolades, but for the ascension points, I am fully stacked up, but the main thing you want to be focusing on is armor piercing, cooldown reduction. You also want to make sure you have the damage against elites. This is a must, especially if you're going to be using just the gun itself. And of course, picking up the anomaly nods. That is the main bread and butter and crux of the build. Now, how do you want to use this build when you're using the skills? Well, to use this build, guys, it's relatively fairly easy. What you want to do is going to proc your borrowed time. What that's going to do, it's going to increment the damage you use with your weapon. It's going to give you shield. It's going to give you health. And since you're kind of constantly having borrowed time active, you're then going to want to throw the knife. Basically, the knife, what's going to do, it's going to mark the enemies. And remember, we have a thing when the enemies are marked, it's going to boost our weapon damage, and it's also going to link the enemies for us. Then we use our time rift, which is going to elevate everybody in the air. It's going to apply weakness. And when we apply that weakness effect, our weapon's going to be doing more damage because we have that weakness buff within one of our mods that's going to give us a 12% more damage against enemies with weakness. In addition to that, our weapons are also proccing and the anomalies kind of building up and everything is pretty much getting destroyed. That is how you play this one-shot pistol build. Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you guys think? Is there's anything we could probably change to get a little bit more damage from those pistols? And if you want to know a really good build for your Pyromancer, Technomancer, or Devastator, check out those videos that are popping up right now on the screen, guys. You won't be disappointed. They're actually pretty good and pretty solid. I hope you guys are enjoying our content. If you are, do me a huge favor, guys. Drop a comment, drop a like. But most importantly, subscribe to the channel. Turn on all your notifications so you guys won't miss when our videos go live. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next video.